Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Maliha, your biochemistry lecturer at Abba Medical College. I am from Lahore, graduated from SIMS and have done MPhil in biochemistry from Sheikh Zayed Federal PGMI Lahore. Biochemistry is the major base of your medical studies, so you must have strong knowledge of biochemistry to keep your concepts clear. Try to correlate your basic knowledge with the clinical side, so it will help you during MBBS and your postgraduate qualification. You must know the importance of concept-based learning and how these basic subjects of first and second year will impact your MBBS studies and professional career. I always tailor my lectures according to my potential students and their needs, so you need not to worry. If you have any questions and queries, I am available to assist. You are most welcome to reach me anytime at my email. Best of luck and goodbye for now.
So students, our next topic is water, pH and buffer. This week we will cover water and next week we will study pH and buffers inshallah. We will talk about water structure, its properties, what type of bond it forms and how water balance is maintained in our body. Distribution of body fluids. Young adult male of 70 kg weight has total body water about 60% of the body weight, and young adult female has total body water content about 50% of the body weight. Because female has a little larger fat cell ratio as compared to the male, so their total body water is usually 50%. On the other hand, as we aged, the number of the fat cells also increase. So again, that would cause the ratio of the total body water to reduce because we have more cells which have less water. फैट सेल्स जो होते हैं उनमें लेस वाटर होता है एज कम्पेयर टू द अदर सेल्स. Similarly, obese people also have less total body water because they have more fat cells. And you know that fat cells contain less body fluid. So different people have different amount of fluid depending upon the relative proportion of muscular and the adipose tissue in the body. Amount of water is different in different tissue. For example, adipose tissue has 10% water and muscular tissue has 75% water. So this percentage of water distribution depends upon the age, gender, degree of obesity. हम कह सकते हैं कि फीमेल्स, ओबीज पीपल और ओल्ड एज पीपल का टोटल बॉडी वाटर जो है एडल्ट मेल से कम होता है. In newborn infants, proportion of the body water in relation to the weight is as high as 80%. This diagram shows that 60% of the total body weight is water, in which 40% or 2/3 is intracellular fluid and 20% and 1/3 is extracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid is further subdivided into interstitial fluid and plasma. 3/4 of the extracellular fluid is interstitial fluid, that's 75%, and 1/4 of extracellular fluid is plasma, that 25%. Body fluids. Body fluids can be divided into 2 or 3 main components. First is intracellular, second is extracellular, and the third is transcellular. What is intracellular? Intracellular fluid is present within the cells. And what is extracellular fluid? It is the fluid that is present outside the cell or that is not present in the cells. And the third one is transcellular. This fluid fills up the spaces of the chamber or epithelial lined spaces. Extracellular fluid is divided into 2 components, intravascular and interstitial. Intravascular fluid is present within the vessels, that capillaries, veins and arteries. Interstitial compartment is present in between the capillaries and in between the cells, and the fluid is called interstitial fluid. Transcellular fluid is further subdivided into lymph, that is present in the lymphatic tissue, pleural fluid that is present in the pleural space surrounding the lungs, peritoneal fluid that is present in the peritoneal cavities, synovial fluid that is present in the synovial cavity, pericardial fluid that is present in the pericardial space surrounding the heart, and cerebrospinal fluid, intraocular fluid, urinary lumen, and GI lumen. Total amount of the body fluid is 42 liter, and out of this 42 liter, 28 liter is present in the intracellular fluid, 14 liter is extracellular fluid, and 2 liter is transcellular fluid. Out of this 14 liter transcellular fluid, 3 liter is present in the intravascular compartment or intravascular fluid, and 11 liter is present in the interstitial compartments. Different people have different amount of the fluid depending upon the relative proportion of the muscular and the adipose tissue in the body, but these fluids are precisely regulated. This diagram shows the major body fluid compartments and the membranes that separate these compartments. A person who has 70 kg weight, that 28 liter out of 42 liter is present in the intracellular fluid, and 14 liter out of 42 liter is in the extracellular fluid. So normally we can say that 20% is in the extracellular fluid and 40% of the body weight is in the intracellular fluid. There is one more way to describe it, that 2/3 of the body water is in the intracellular fluid and 1/3 is in the extracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid is divided into interstitial fluid and the plasma. You must know the difference between blood and the plasma. Blood contains the two components, that blood cells, that is the solid component, and its liquid part of the blood is plasma. Out of this 14 liter extracellular fluid, 11 liter is present in the interstitial fluid and 3 liter is plasma. Membranes that separate these compartments include cell membrane and capillary membrane. Cell membrane that separate the extracellular fluid from the intracellular fluid, and capillary membrane that separates the interstitial fluid or from the plasma. These body fluids are precisely regulated, which we will discuss later. Water is the predominant chemical component of living organism. It's a polar biomolecule. Now you might be thinking, what is polar biomolecule? Polar biomolecule are the biochemical species having polar bonds. A polar bond has a partial positive and a partial negative charge, which is required for various intra and extracellular functions such as transfer of chemical energy and transport of nutrients. It's a medium in which the body solutes are dissolved and various biochemical reactions take place. Approximately 60% of our body is water. It is distributed between intracellular and extracellular compartments. I hope you all know what is extracellular fluid, intracellular fluid, interstitial fluid, lymph, and the transcellular fluid. So extracellular fluid. All body fluids outside the cells is extracellular fluid. It makes up about 1/3 of the body fluid. Intracellular fluid is the fluid within the cells. Interstitial fluid is the fluid found in the spaces around the cells. And what is lymph? Lymph is the fluid that flows through the lymphatic system. And then the last term is the transcellular fluid, is the fluid that fills up the spaces of the chambers that are formed from the lining of epithelial cells, that include cerebrospinal fluid, synovial fluid, peritoneal and pericardial fluid. So 60% of our total body water is intracellular and 40% is extracellular. The extracellular fluids include the fluid in the plasma, interstitial fluid, lymph, and the transcellular fluid. Both extracellular fluid and the intracellular fluid contain electrolytes. Electrolytes are the ionic solutes, and the body electrolytes include sodium and the chloride. These are the major electrolytes in the extracellular fluid. Potassium and the phosphates such as hydrogen phosphate are the major electrolytes in the intracellular fluid. Body fluids contain electrolytes. You all know that electrolytes are ionic solutes that produces an electrical conducting solution when dissolved in a polar solvent such as water. These dissolved electrolytes separates into cations and anions. As we all know, cations is an atom or a molecule that is positively charged, and anion has a negative charge. Cations include sodium, potassium, hydrogen, magnesium and calcium. As I told you earlier, the chief cation of plasma is sodium. The anions are chloride, bicarbonate, phosphate and sulfate. The chief anions of the plasma are chloride and bicarbonate. Extracellular fluids are high in sodium, chloride, calcium and bicarbonate concentration. Plasma has more protein than the interstitial fluid and lymph. Fluid in the cells are high in potassium, phosphate, magnesium and more protein than the plasma. Organic compounds in the body fluids are glucose, urea, protein, lipids, creatinine and nucleic acids. Structure of the water molecule has nearly a tetrahedral arrangement, making an angle of 105 degree between two hydrogen atoms. In the first figure, the dashed lines represent the non-bonding orbitals that are unshared electrons of the two sp3 hybridized orbital. The two hydrogen atoms have localized partial positive charges and oxygen atom have a partial negative charge. Hence, water is a dipolar molecule. In the second diagram, the two water molecules joined by the hydrogen bond between the oxygen atom of the upper molecule, which is an hydrogen acceptor, and the hydrogen atom of the lower one molecule, which is hydrogen donor. Hydrogen bonds are longer and weaker than covalent bonds that is present between oxygen and hydrogen. Now, keeping in mind the previous diagram, let's recall all the points one by one. Water molecule has a tetrahedral geometry with oxygen at its center. Two hydrogen and the unshared electrons occupy the corners of the molecule. The 105 degree angle between the two hydrogen atoms differs slightly from the ideal tetrahedral angle, that is 109 degree. The strongly electronegative oxygen atom in a water molecule attracts the electrons away from the hydrogen atom, leaving them with a partial positive charge. Water is said to be dipolar because it has a positive and the negative pole as a result of the uneven distribution of the electrons. Now, what is dielectric constant? It is the polarity of the solvent. The higher the dielectric constant of the solvent, the more polar it is. The dielectric constant for water is 78.5 at 25 degrees. So, water's strong dipole is responsible for its high dielectric constant. Its strong dipole and high dielectric constant enable the water to dissolve large quantities of the charged compounds such as salts. Water interactions in ecosystem. Biomolecules are held together by both covalent and the non-covalent bonds. These bonds stabilize biologic molecules. What is covalent bond? It is the strongest force that hold the molecules together. An example is water, as we saw in its structure. Non-covalent bonds are of lesser magnitude, can be either attractive or repulsive within the biomolecule, between biomolecule and the water. It makes significant contribution to the structure, stability and the functional competence of the macromolecule. Non-covalent bonds continually forms and breaks. There are four types of the non-covalent bonds among the biomolecules. First is hydrogen bond, second is ionic or electrostatic interaction, third is hydrophobic interaction, and the last one is van der Waals interaction. Hydrogen bond is a weak non-covalent interaction between the hydrogen of the one molecule and the more electronegative atom of an acceptor molecule. The oxygen of the water can form hydrogen bonds with the two other water molecules, so that each water molecule is hydrogen bonded to approximately 4 close neighboring water molecules in a fluid three-dimensional lattice. As shown in the second diagram, polar groups participate in hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonds formed between alcohol and the water, between two molecules of ethanol, and between peptide carbonyl oxygen and the peptide nitrogen hydrogen of an adjacent amino acid. Hydrogen bonds. As I explained you earlier, that water molecules form hydrogen bond due to its dipolar nature. Hydrogen bonding accounts for the role of the water as a solvent, for its relatively high melting point, boiling point, viscosity, surface tension. So hydrogen bonding gives water its unusual properties. These properties are the consequence of the attraction between adjacent water molecules that gives the liquid water a great internal cohesion. Rupture of the hydrogen bond in liquid water requires only about 4.5 kilocalories per mole and less than 5% of the energy required to rupture a covalent bond. These bonds are relatively weak and transient with a half-life of few picoseconds. Hydrogen bonding enables water to dissolve many organic biomolecules that contain functional group which can participate in hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonds between water molecules and polar solutes continuously dissociate and reform, permitting the solutes to move through water and water to pass through channels in cell membranes. Water responds to the input of heat by decreasing the extent of hydrogen bonding and to cooling by increasing the bonding between water molecules. First diagram shows an electrostatic attraction between the oxygen atom of one water molecule and the hydrogen of another, called the hydrogen bond. Second diagram explains that stronger or weaker hydrogen bond depends upon its direction. If hydrogen bond lie in a straight line, the attraction between them is stronger. In this diagram, figure A shows hydrogen bonds are strong enough to dissolve the polar molecules. Figure B shows the non-random orientation of water molecule around ions. For example, when sodium chloride salt dissolves in water, it results in hydrated sodium ion and hydrated chloride ion. In liquid water at room temperature, each water molecule forms hydrogen bond with an average of 3.4 other water molecules. But in case of ice, each water molecule forms 4 hydrogen bonds forming a regular crystal lattice. This crystal lattice structure of ice makes it less dense than the liquid water, and hence the ice floats on liquid water. Hydrophobic interactions. Hydrophobic molecules are usually non-polar molecules. These molecules and the surfaces repel water. Hydrophobic interaction refers to the tendency of the non-polar compound to self-associate in an aqueous environment. These molecules fold to position the polar and charged group on their surfaces. In the aqueous environment of the living cell, the hydrophobic portion of the biopolymers tend to be buried inside the structure of the molecule or within the lipid bilayer, minimizing the contact of water and maximizing the charge dipole, dipole-dipole and hydrogen bonds. For example, in a phospholipid bilayer, where the charge head of the phosphatidylserine or phosphatidylethanolamine contact water, while their hydrophobic fatty acyl side chain cluster together, excluding the water. Most biomolecules are amphipathic, that they possesses region rich in charged or polar functional group as well as the region with hydrophobic character. So, stable structure of the amphipathic compounds in water is called micelles. We will discuss micelles in the next slide. Water molecules adjacent to the hydrophobic group are restricted in the number of orientation that permit them to participate in the maximum number of favorable hydrogen bond, which maximize the enthalpy with an accompanying decrease in the entropy. Now you might be thinking, what is enthalpy and what is entropy? Entropy is the change in the randomness, or it is the quantitative expression of the randomness or disorder in a system. You can take the example of ice, as I told you earlier. Then when ice melts or water evaporates, heat is taken up by the system and entropy of the water increases, because at room temperature both ice melts and water evaporates spontaneously, so the entropy is increased. Entropy also increased when crystalline substances dissolve, for example sodium chloride salt. The heat released or absorbed during the reaction is called enthalpy. Enthalpy is positive for melting and evaporation. Amphipathic compounds contain polar and the non-polar regions. When the amphipathic compound is mixed with water, the polar hydrophilic region interacts with the water and tends to dissolve, but the non-polar hydrophobic region tends to avoid contact with the water. In the second diagram, the non-polar regions of the molecule cluster together to present the smallest hydrophobic area to the aqueous solvent, and the polar regions are arranged to maximize their interaction with the solvent. These stable structures of amphipathic compound in water are called micelles that may contain hundreds or thousands of the molecules. The forces that hold the non-polar regions of the molecules together are called hydrophobic interactions. Ionic or electrostatic interaction. It is the force of attraction between the two opposite charges. It is also called electrovalent bond. It is present between the metal and a non-metal. Metal lose electrons and gain by the non-metal, means there is a complete transfer of the electron to achieve the stability. For example, sodium chloride, there is one electron in the outer orbital of the sodium ion that is taken up by the chloride ion to form the electrostatic force of attraction between the sodium and the chloride. Ionic bond is a very strong bond than the covalent bond, hydrogen bond and van der Waals forces. Very small distance is present between the bonds, so it forms a crystal lattice structure, a solid form or a 3D structure. For example, rock salt. Because they are strong electrostatic force, so their melting points and boiling points are high. It is non-directional force of attraction, means कि ये कोई direction show नहीं करे. That's why it is written as sodium chloride, because इनके दरमियान ये इतने strong bond हैं कि इनके दरमियान बहुत small distance होता है और ये molecules एक दूसरे के इतने close होते हैं. Rock salt or sodium chloride is a bad conductor because ions are not free to move due to the strong electrostatic force of attraction. So it is not a good conductor because ions can't move. But if we convert it into the aqueous state, the ions are free to move and then it becomes a good conductor. For example, when we dissolve the sodium chloride that is in the solid form in the water decreases the force of attraction between the different molecules. So ions are free to move and carry the charge, so electrical conductivity take place. इसीलिए हम कहते हैं कि वाटर की जो डाई इलेक्ट्रिक प्रॉपर्टी है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है. वाटर हैज़ a very strong or high dielectric constant because it decreases the force of attraction between different molecules. So we can say that ionic and the hydrogen bonds are variable in strength depending upon the polarity of the solvent and the alignment of the hydrogen bond atoms. As I told you earlier, that if the hydrogen bond is linear, it is a very strong bond. Van der Waals interactions, these are also called London forces. Van der Waals forces is the intermolecular force of attraction among the molecules. It is very weak force of attraction. Van der Waals forces is the weakest of all forces, means it is weaker than hydrogen bond, covalent bond and ionic bond. All molecules can have van der Waals forces, means it can occur between two non-polar molecules, between two polar molecules, between one polar and another non-polar molecule. It also occurs between the ion and the polar molecule, ion and the non-polar molecule. There are 5 types of the van der Waals forces. First one is ion dipole interaction, that is between either cation or anion and the polar molecule. Second one is dipole-dipole interactions, means it is between two polar molecules. Third one is ion induced dipole interaction, that is between ion and the non-polar molecule. Fourth one is dipole induced dipole interaction, that is between polar and the non-polar molecule. Last one is instantaneous dipole and induced dipole interaction, means it is between two non-polar molecule. A non-polar molecule at any particular instant becomes the dipole, so it is called instantaneous dipole. Example of the first type ion dipole interaction is sodium chloride when soluble in water. This is the strongest van der Waals force. Example of the dipole-dipole interaction is the two molecules of HCl. That dipole-dipole interactions are present between two polar molecules or two HCl molecules. Third type, ion-induced dipole interaction, is present between the ion and the non-polar molecule. Ion is, for example, ion is sodium ion and the non-polar molecule is oxygen. So the ion-induced dipole interaction is present between sodium and the oxygen molecule. Fourth one, dipole-induced dipole interaction, is between polar molecule and the non-polar molecule, for example chlorine, hydrogen, nitrogen. Example is HCl, that is polar, and chlorine, that is non-polar. लास्ट वन जो है वो इंस्टेंटेनियस डाइपोल इंड्यूस्ड डाइपोल इंटरेक्शन. ये वीकेस्ट वैन डर वाल इंटरेक्शन है, बिकॉज ये बहुत थोड़े टाइम के लिए डाइपोल इसमें बनता है. एन एग्जाम्पल इज़ बिटवीन two non-polar molecules of hydrogen. One molecule of hydrogen at a particular time becomes the dipole and then form instantaneous dipole-induced dipole interaction. Van der Waals forces is directly proportional to the molecular weight, means जिस molecule का molecular weight ज़्यादा है वो ज़्यादा strong van der Waals forces बनाएगा. Similarly, van der Waals forces is directly proportional to the boiling point. अगर किसी molecule का boiling point ज़्यादा है तो वो ज़्यादा strong van der Waals forces बनाएगा. Van der Waals forces is also directly proportional to the surface area. अगर किसी molecule का surface area ज़्यादा है तो वो ज़्यादा strong van der Waals force बनाएगा. For example, if the molecule has a linear structure, it forms a more strong bond than the branching structure, because in branching structure surface area is decreased. Van der Waals forces is also directly proportional to the bond polarity. So the first type of the van der Waals force, ion dipole interaction, is the strongest van der Waals force. Multiple forces stabilizes the biomolecules. For example, in the DNA structure, you must know how many forces and which type of the forces are present to stabilize the 3D structure of the nucleic acid. DNA is the genetic material in all organisms except few viruses. It is called the double helix because the two single strands running in the opposite direction. It is made up of the nucleotides, which are the building blocks of the DNA molecule, and each nucleotide consists of the sugar molecule, phosphate, and the nitrogenous base. This is called one nucleotide. And these nucleotides are joined together by different bonds. Look at the diagram. These nucleotides are joined together by 2 or 3 bonds. This is the phosphodiester bond, this is the hydrogen bond, and this is the van der Waals bond. DNA obtains its three-dimensional structure as a result of the van der Waals bond. The type of the van der Waals bond is dipole-dipole bond that is present between the NH dipole of the cytosine and the carbon-oxygen dipole of the guanine on the second strand. So dipole-dipole van der Waals interaction between the cytosine and the guanine are present to connect the one strand of DNA with another. Second bond is phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond is a very strong covalent bond that connects the adjacent nucleotide through 2 ester bonds connecting through phosphate group. The third bond is hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond is present between the nitrogenous bases that connect the 2 DNA strands. Adenine and guanine are purines, and cytosine and thymine, these are pyrimidines. Purines will always bond with the pyrimidines. Adenine and thymine have 2 hydrogen bonds, and cytosine and guanine has 3 hydrogen bonds to connect the 2 strands of the DNA molecule to form the double helix. Last one is the hydrophobic interaction based on the interaction with water. As the nitrogenous bases in the middle of the DNA molecule are hydrophobic, these nitrogenous bases are hydrophobic, that they are scared of the water, whereas the phosphate of the sugar backbone, these are hydrophilic, like to interact with the water, so that they love water. Hence nitrogenous bases are not interacting with water, and sugar backbone are interacting with water on the outside. So each individual strand is held together by a covalent bond. Second one is the non-covalent interactions such as the hydrogen bond between the nitrogenous bases, and third one is the van der Waals interaction between the stacked purines and the pyrimidine bases, and the fourth one is the hydrophobic interaction that between the charged phosphate group and the polar hydroxyl group from the ribose sugar of the DNA backbone to the water, while burying the relatively hydrophobic nitrogenous bases inside. The extended backbone maximizes the distance between negatively charged phosphate, minimizing the unfavorable electrostatic interactions. We will continue the study tomorrow. Have a great day. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.